Hi, it's Sarah here, and today I'm going to be reading to you from my first novel, Missing on Main Street. But before we dig into it, I want to just preface this by saying I am not that great of a reader when it comes to reading out loud. I do read aloud to my children every day, but my brain seems to move faster than my mouth can, and I stumble over my tongue, stumble over my words, and all that kind of stuff. So as I'm reading this to you, please forgive all the weird crackling my voice does. I will interchange words by accident, and that's just kind of how I am and what happens. So please forgive that. I do hope to have this on audiobook someday, but trust me, it won't be me narrating it. It'll be somebody much better than I could, a trained person who knows how to actually use their voice in a way that can be pleasing to others. So I'm going to be reading from my Kindle so you guys can see my cool Missing on Main Street cover. I just redid this cover. I really like it. Of course, we've got the honeypot because honeypot is the name of the town that most of these things at least occur or start in. And it's also the name of the mystery series, a honeypot mystery. And this is book 1 in the mystery series, and you get to know all the main characters and all that kind of stuff. So let me take a drink of my coffee real quick. All right. And then at my house, when we're doing a read aloud, we light a candle. It just makes it more fun for us, and it gives us a memory together. And come on, candles make things fun. Plus, if you're the one who gets to strike the match and light the candle, yeah, it's like a bonus. So here we go. Let's light it up. Alrighty. Okay, so let's move that all out of the way so you don't have to stare at that box. You're already staring at my hands and my bench and all that kind of stuff. So let's just get into it now that I've stumbled over myself enough. All right, so we're going to start Missing on Main Street by me, Sarah Hualde. I'm going to go through chapter 1. We're just going to read the opening scene. So if you're interested in reading the full chapter, I'll leave links in the description of the video to show you where you can go to sign up for my newsletters. I've got 2 separate ones, but each of them will link you to a freebie library where you can get the first full chapter of Missing on Main Street for you to read, but you can also get the first free chapter of Lethal and Lavender, which is book 2. So you can go check that out later, and I'll leave links in the description. So let's get going. Chapter 1. Holidays aren't happy for everyone. For many, a can of Spam and a bottle of spray cheese eaten in peace are more scrumptious than a fried turkey and a homemade green bean casserole. Ivy Hooper would have settled for old bologna on a crowded bus rather than the Thanksgiving weekend she was enduring. Stunned on the front lawn of her grandmother's house, she hid behind the tractor mailbox as her stepfather launched projectiles at her head. She hunkered low, scrambling to scavenge her belongings as she sobbed on the dry grass. She kept her secret close, almost long enough to escape. Discovered 4 weeks too soon, she was paying the price. Miss Lana watched Ivy from the corner of her kitchen window as Mr. Hooper cussed and cursed at the 16-year-old girl. Miss Lana, who lived next door, allowed Ivy to borrow her beat-up Beetle to drive to tutoring. In exchange, Ivy deep-cleaned the woman's house once a week. The eyes of her friend upon her, Ivy could not bear to look into them, and wouldn't dare a risky plea for aid. Ivy waited out the tirade. This wasn't the first time Hurricane Dawn had landed in her presence. She prayed it would be the last. There wasn't much left of her home, and what remained wasn't worth the effort to rebuild. She longed for one of her grandmother's photo albums, one containing snapshots of Ivy's mother. She thought of sneaking into the house once Dawn passed out. On Thanksgiving, it would be sooner than usual, but she couldn't take the chance, not even for one of her Mima's hand-sewn quilts. As Dawn withdrew, leaving the porch ravaged and rattling, Ivy spotted Miss Lana squeeze her keys through the mail slot on her turquoise front door. She whispered, "Take it and get out of here." Then she slipped a 20 into the offering. Ivy rubbed her cheeks with shaking fists and snatched the keys and the money. She strained to show gratitude in her eyes. Speech was impossible. "I know you'll bring it back when you can. Now go before he comes back out." The blue-haired girl curled into a crouch and duck-walked the sidewalk. Her laptop was in 2 pieces, but her cell phone seemed uninjured. Don wasn't thoughtful enough to toss out clothing or blankets or shoes. That would have been too helpful to his disgraceful mess of a stepdaughter. This exiling was a punishment, and he wanted the girl to experience every lashing. He could have done worse. Thank you, Jesus. Ivy slid into her driver's seat of the hot pink VW and turned the key. The motor sparked to life, shaking off the cold of November. She put the car in gear and pulled from the curb, right as Don reappeared on the front steps for round two. He tossed a beer can and a lit cigarette at the retreating car and then flipped off his next-door neighbor before returning to his couch. The VW's gas tank only showed a quarter full. Being a bug, this could get Ivy some distance from Lewiston and her angry relative. She doubted it could get her to Ashton, and Ashton was where she needed to go. Thankfully, in between Lewiston and Ashton laid a respite for travelers, the tiny town of Pottersville. Nicknamed Honeypot due to its circular shape and surrounding bee sanctuary, it was quaint and quiet. Ivy had a few friends in the town, none of which had the power or money to offer Ivy real help. Still, there was one lady who might comfort Ivy as she determined her next steps. It was a possibility, a dicey one. If your own stepfather can't tolerate your presence, what makes you think a near stranger will want to help you? Ivy choked on her own thoughts of self-hatred and washed it down with a small scrap of courage she still contained. She risked the rejection and headed west toward Honeypots. Alrighty, so that's the first scene, the opening scene of Missing on Main Street. What will happen? Who knows? Alright, thanks for joining me. If you do pick up Missing on Main Street, first of all, thank you. That's amazing. And if you liked it, I would love it. It would make my day if you could leave it a review wherever you purchased it, whether that was on Apple or Nook or Amazon or whatever. Also, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, but also to one of my blogs, too, to get more information and updates about when new books are coming out. Again, this is book 1 in the Honeypot series. Book 2 is Lethal Lavender, and book 3 is coming out in September 2019, and it is called Farmer's Market Fatality, and I can't wait to read you the opening of that one either. So go snag your free chapter, and if you pick up the book, be sure to leave a review. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Catch you later. Bye.